Hey, folks, my guest today is Daniel Libeskind. He's the co-founder and CEO of Topia, a platform for creative social experiences that inspire authentic human connection. He's a product developer and engineer, having built nearly 30 applications over the past 6 years, and believes that creativity is humanity's greatest gift and is on a quest to empower creators. Daniel, are you ready to take us to the top?
I am. Thanks for having me, Nathan. Such an honor to be here.
You bet. So talk to me a little bit. There's companies like Envoy, MIT, Opus, and Okta using Topia. How are they using you?
Yeah, so companies that are using Topia really are using it as a community platform. So when you think about your employees, your coworkers, if you're just showing up to meetings and you don't actually really know anybody, you're kind of just a mercenary working for a company. And so being able to actually turn your coworkers into people that you know that are part of your community that you can have social experiences with, that's really core and critical to retention, to having a good working environment. And so people are using Topia to have holiday parties, to celebrate their IPOs, to have all hands, happy hours, and sort of the social fabric that makes up a co-working community when you're in person. Really hard to do with just Zoom. And so things like Topia are able to step in and provide that medium for the social fabric.
Facebook's now Meta. They're betting on the metaverse. You're like the B2B version of Meta, huh?
Well, we've been doing metaverse stuff for a couple of years now, and I wouldn't even say that we are entirely or even focused on B2B. For example, Burning Man, which is a big festival that happens annually, actually happened on Topia. Happened last year on Topia, this year on Topia, and so we're very much a community platform. Businesses are communities, a community of employees, so they're using Topia, but we also have thousands of different people that are not business oriented using Topia really just as a way to evolve how they socialize online, to come together for real time experiences, and to make friends.
And Daniel, how are people paying you? What's your revenue model?
Yeah, we have a few different revenue models, and we really have two different types of users. We have first of all, we sort of have a whole creator ecosystem, and so creators are creating assets, they're creating art, they're creating programmable experiences, putting those in the marketplace. Curators are creating templates, which people can then use to really easily customize their worlds. And then we have confluencers, which are actually bringing people together inside of worlds and earning money by doing that. And so people are paying us both for world ownership, and that's $9 a month. And we have a couple thousand people that are doing that. And then we have also on the B2B side, like you mentioned, people are throwing one-off events, and they're also subscribing to have persistent monthly spaces where they can have all hands and happy hours and check-ins and those sorts of things. So there's a few different things. We also have community subscriptions and ticketing coming very soon. So we're adding new revenue models as we go.
On the B2B side, what's the average B2B company paying you per month or per year to use the tech?
It ranges. The largest one-off event we've charged is $40,000. Small ones can be $100. And then on the recurring side, that also ranges. We basically charge based on venue size. So if you want to have a venue size, a capacity of 100 people, we charge $4 per person of capacity. So that's $400 a month. I would say that's probably, for a smallish company, that's what people are paying. And then you can have unlimited number of people, unlimited number of events, but never more than 100 people at a time. But we have people that are have a 25 person capacity, 100 person capacity, 1,000 person capacity. So it kind of ranges.
Got it. How many people are paying something on the B2B side?
On the B2B side, on a given month, again, we have a lot of one-off events as well. We have dozens at this point that are paying us, but it kind of fluctuates.
Got it. Yeah. Ignore the one-off stuff, but it sounds like maybe if you have dozens, call it maybe 24 paying at least $400 a month on the B2B side.
Something like that.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you see that being the future? Obviously, everyone wants recurring revenue because then you can, determine who to hire and rely on future revenue to cover their salaries and stuff. But not everything is meant to be a B2B SaaS recurring model. I mean, you're having success with one-off events. Are you comfortable with that? How do you plan?
Yeah, we very much actually want to be the evolution of how people socialize. We're not really focused on the B2B side per se. I think a lot of businesses have found Topia to be really engaging and a great way to bring people together. We're very focused on our creators, right? On the people that are actually creating these experiences, that are curating experiences, that are bringing people together in worlds, which we call confluencers. And so we're actually paying 30% of our revenue out from the B2B side to our creator ecosystem. And that's one of the reasons that we're really stoked about all the different businesses that are paying. But I think as we think about the long term of Topia, we're very much a creator ecosystem, and very focused on how can people have communities in these really unique social experiences and these curated and customized social experiences. And so that's kind of like our focal point. Things like Burning Man, are very much in our wheelhouse. Festivals, gatherings, those kinds of things.
And so, Daniel, how much in September or October did you pay out to confluencers?
We actually just had our biggest day. I think a few days ago, we paid out $3,000 in a single day to our confluencers. So, it's still kind of early innings on some of this stuff, but, it's scaling pretty quickly.
Give me just, obviously I want to try and avoid extremes. Congrats on a hugely successful day though. But if you look at just all of October, how much total went out? Are we talking like 5-10 grand to confluencers?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, interesting. So got it. So I can then multiply times, 3 there, right? You're doing something like 30 grand a month on the world ownership side. Is that right?
You really like getting into the revenue numbers. Yeah. So we're somewhere between there. It fluctuates again based on the one-offs, and the one-offs actually generate a lot of the confluencer commissions at this point.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. So on that largest event where you had like 40,000, that was that the B2B SaaS played, how would a confluencer make money on that?
Yeah. So 30%. So we would basically say, okay, here's a $40,000 invoice that's paid, and we're carving out 30% of that. So 12 grand then gets slated to get paid out to our creators and our confluencers, basically to our creator ecosystem,
who bring people into the event,
who are creating content, creating templates, creating assets, and bringing people into events.
Yeah, I see. So you could have a big brand like Dell, who's very many people would say is unsexy and slow, say, I want a cool factor. I'm going to pay Daniel and Topia 40 grand to then incentivize all these cool metaverse builders templates to go like build this cool online ecosystem.
That's right. We also have service partners. So this $40,000 event, actually, they paid $40,000 to us, but one of our service partners provided world building services, event production. We have about a dozen different service partners.
Are those the world ownership people that you said there's thousands of paying $9 a month?
No, they're in some cases they are, but often they're actually like event production companies. They are a team of illustrators. They have a lot of different capabilities. Sometimes they can hire paid actors, so you can have these live interactive events. So think of like Sleep No More in New York, if you're familiar with that. You can have a corporate event that's kind of like your own customized Sleep No More, which is like interactive theater. And these service partners will build the world. They'll customize it, put in your company product videos or inside jokes, scavenger hunts. You can, where you can win things. And then during the event, they'll actually run the event. They'll have the paid actors, those kinds of things.
And Daniel, when did you start building the business? What year?
So this Topia formally started in 2020, but I've been building platforms like this since 2015. And so it's been a long journey. I've been actually the same technology that we're using in Topia, which is web real-time communication. We basically have peer-to-peer encrypted tunnels for our audio and video. So there's like an encrypted tunnel between two browsers. I was building stuff using that technology back in 2015. And so, it's been kind of a journey, but this particular iteration started in 2020. We raised a little bit over 5 million in May of this year from 776 and Bonfire Ventures and a few others. 776 is Alex Ohanian, who's founder of Reddit, just as an aside. So, in some ways, the evolution of how we socialize, evolution of Reddit, community building, those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. Would you consider, is it 5 million the all you've raised? So it's like your pre-seed round, basically?
Yeah, it's 5.8 in total that we've raised.
Mm-hmm. So take me earlier. So before the 5 million, when did you raise the 800 grand?
We did that. So we hosted Burning Man in 2020. Basically, Burning Man was trying to figure out how to deal with COVID, and they're shutting down. They were trying to throw their own event. We were kind of advising them on how to build a virtual world, essentially how to build a metaverse experience for Burning Man. They wound up deciding that they were going to outsource this. So we were one of the co-hosts of it in 2020. We had over 25,000 people come to the event. And this was like 5 months after we actually wrote the first line of code. So, the whole platform is pretty new. But we had over 20,000 people come to what we call Build a Burn, which is the virtual Burning Man. And then right after that, we had a lot of people interested trying to invest in Topia. And so we did a friends and family round essentially then.
Got it. So that was 800,000 sort of pre-seed round. And did you do that like on a priced round or a convertible note, would you say?
So it was actually 600,000 and it was using
Daniel, come on, man. The story keeps changing. Okay. So 600,000 raised.
We then raised 5.2. So we've raised 5.8 altogether.
Fair. Okay, cool. The reason I'm trying to get to this is because every founder, like when they have their big first moment, for you, this Burning Man moment, there's always a ton of inbound interest. And so I'm curious how you sort of like moved quick, reduced the amount of time you were on investor calls. Did you use a note to do that, or did you go ahead and do the full priced round on the 600?
Yeah, we just did a note. And we actually did the whole thing in like 2 weeks. It was really fast for the note round for the friends and family. And then the priced round, I talked to a lot of different VCs. We were really trying to find somebody that was spiritually and energetically aligned with what we were trying to do and understood what we were trying to achieve. And weren't going to try to push us down some path that didn't make sense for our values, for our culture. So when I met Alex Ohanian and his team, Caitlin Holloway as well, who's another partner at 776, it was just like, okay, these are the perfect investors for us. They totally get what we're trying to do. They have deep experience building Reddit, which is a platform that I have a lot of deep respect for, and investing and just a lot of experience and connections. And so when we actually made that happen, it was kind of like sparks flew and let's make this happen.
That makes sense to me why you two aligned in terms of like an energy level. Most founders are selling somewhere around 20% of the business in their seed. Were you around that same amount?
Yeah, around there.
Okay. Dan, did you ever consider, man, this is going to be big, I want full flexibility, I'd prefer to bootstrap?
Yeah, bootstrapping is definitely a path to go. I think if you're going to do that, either you need to have a founder that's already had a big exit and has the capital to bootstrap, or you need to really focus on how to maximize revenue and build a sustainable business right off the bat. And while we had revenue within our first 6 months, that hasn't been our core focus. Really for us, it's building a product that people love and that is building a network, allows them to come together. Revenue has been honestly, one of the reasons that we focus on revenue at all now is so that we can pay out our creator ecosystem. And provide that kind of financial independence.
What was like to boost that ecosystem? Obviously, then you bring in network effects, right? So how low was revenue in 2020? I mean, most of it was probably from the Burning Man event, right? But are we talking like $100,000 of revenue or something like that?
Yeah, it was even less than that. I think in 2020, we didn't actually turn on revenue generation capabilities until something like August or September. It was right before Burning Man. We even let people subscribe at all. And so it was. And
when you say let people subscribe, like, does that mean they're trying to buy worlds at $9 a month? They're world builders taking 30%. Like, what are the models did you open up?
Yeah, so the first one was world ownership essentially. So that these are unique URLs. It's kind of like real estate. So if you want topia.io/Nathan, then you pay $9 a month to have that, and you have unlimited people that you can bring in there. We have huge amount of scalability. So we don't cap the number of people at a time. We've had people bring thousands of people at once into one of these worlds, and that's just $9. And so that's what we opened up first. And we have thousands of people paying to have worlds that they own, and
would you say this year this is going to be your main revenue stream? Then is going to be this $9 per month world ownership concept?
No, we make way more from our business side than we do from the what is more like the confluencer side, the world ownership side.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, if you have thousands though at $9 a month, I mean, let's say 2,000 at $9 a month, that's more than, $20,000 a month in revenue. So if you're doing way more on the B2B side, I mean, are you guys past $1 million run rate yet?
We're not, no.
Can you break it next year, you think?
$1 million next year?
Yeah, total revenue.
Definitely our goal. Yeah.
And the reason I bring that up is because it sounds like if that goes up, confluencers can make more money. So you get more creatives, cartoonists, illustrators building for the platform, and you get network effects. So don't kill me for pushing you on revenue, but I'm also trying to help.
That's exactly right. Right. And that's really the focal point here is how do we create financial independence for creators, make it so that you can just, you can have a full-time career, be just creating things that bring people together, right? Creating experiences, creating social experiences online. That's actually sort of the goal and the mission here.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. So how, I guess the main thing you're tracking then are, what is it? How many confluencers contribute at least one illustration or at least one template per month? Like, what's that metric for you that you really care? I know you're not a metrics guy, you're like an energy guy, but you have to have some metrics, right? What's the metric?
Yeah, we have metrics. So, we are looking at how many people are having conversations a week. And,
Okay.
importantly, we're not saying what is like session duration, how long are people having conversations? Because we're not trying to build an attention economy. We're not an ad-based model, right?
Yep.
We're never going to be. So the length of time isn't nearly as important as actually coming on frequently and having at least, one human connection with people. So we track that. We look at how many events are happening on platform each week. And then we look at how much we are paying out to our creator ecosystem.
Interesting. Okay. So how many conversations per week happened last week?
Last week, I think it was 4,000 people had at
Oh,
least one
wow.
conversation.
That's amazing. Okay. And so how many events was that across?
It fluctuates. I think last week it was 180 different events.
Wow. Okay. And then it sounds like, again, a really good day for you in terms of paid out to creators would be like 3K. So maybe, I mean, it sounds like you're around like 2 or 3K per week on a good week.
On a good week, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Super interesting. Okay. Very cool. I think that I would argue the hardest thing about this really is finding like a mousetrap to get like the common person understanding this, right? Like I get it, but I would say I'm even early, right? Like, what do you think the mousetrap is going to be where you get millions of people having a conversation each week?
Yeah, well, one of the funny things that's happening is we've been a metaverse company for years now without actually using the word metaverse, right? And so it's really hard to describe Topia without bringing people into it. I think that's actually getting a lot easier because now people are exploring what is this idea of real-time social interaction online? What is the synchronous internet? What is the metaverse? And so that's actually making things much, much easier for us. But I think that the ultimate explosion in people actually having conversations is likely going to come from people just being more comfortable with these kinds of platforms, actually using them, having it integrated into their daily way of life, and part of how they actually interact and have community with people all over the world. Right. In many ways, we're actually bringing the accessibility to communities. We're tearing down location-based physical constraints, economic constraints to be a member of different groups. And so, it's my belief, and I think what we're seeing actually happen around us real time is that people are getting more and more excited about the ability to actually interact online, and not just in a meeting, right? But in sort of a social, free to move, you have your own agency, safe, consensual way.
Well, I just signed up and I'm very happy to say I got /Nathan username, which I'm shocked that I got. So I'm very excited. This is great. You know what this reminds me of? This is crazy. This looks almost exactly like the the boring apes ecosystem they built to give value to the NFTs they're building. Do you have anyone combining and illustrating virtual worlds and you can only access them with NFT access?
It's funny you should ask that. We have not. This is an exclusive on this podcast. Just teasing that we are one of our core beliefs is in the interoperable metaverse. The idea of if you're going to be creator centric, we need to make it possible for creators instead of having to in like Web
Daniel,
2.
this is so creepy. I just joined this world. There are other people here I've never met before, but I see their faces and I see their little illustrators walking around. This is very interesting.
You're probably in welcome, which is kind of like our welcome lobby. Is the
Oops,
URL/welcome?
Yeah, I just muted myself. I'm walking through explore the Topia sign. I'm going to the private zone. I'm discovering public worlds. Art Island looks interesting. This is very interesting.
Yep.
Wow. This is like, so like how much of your time is spent towards like building the next Disney, right? Don't you need like amazing illustrators and cartoonists like create these virtual worlds? Isn't that the key here? Like Activision X World of Warcraft builder people?
Yeah, I mean, so one of the crazy things is that we have a huge marketplace full of assets. We have both Topia assets. We also have community built assets, and then scenes, which are collections of objects or collections of assets. So there's a ton of stuff that you can actually just pull in. And then if you want to upload your own content, you can. You also very soon will be able to import your NFTs, verified NFTs, and use those kinds of things. So just tying into this sort of interoperable public database of content makes it so you don't really have to generate your own from scratch anymore. And it's part of this whole creator ecosystem that is emerging around us. People have been talking about creator economies for a long time, but now it's actually coming to fruition, and you don't need to be an artist yourself in order to have access to really high quality art that creators have made.
Sorry, if I look distracted, it's because I'm walking through all these worlds. Can I can I hire an illustrator and illustrate my own little podcast booth, kind of like this person right now is owning the little graphic stage, and when I walk into it, I'm listening to his music?
Absolutely. Yep.
That
so cool. And people are doing that all the time. So I was talking about service partners. There's also just tons of artists on platform where you can, where they'll make you custom art. And you can just make your world whatever you want it to be.
I just jumped in the pool, which is that splashing you hear in the background. So funny. I love this. Okay, this makes perfect sense to me. I get it. You just have to do it. I love how easy you've made the onboarding. I feel like that's the key to getting this to work. I feel like once people are in, they're going to get hooked. This is great. All right, let's wrap up. Well, actually, are you raising more capital right now?
We likely are. We haven't really kicked that off. We are getting a lot of interest in raising another round. We just raised, so we don't really need capital, but having more will help us to really accelerate. And we are scaling the team. Our product is evolving pretty rapidly. And so, if people are interested, they can reach out to me.
Very cool. All right, let's wrap up with the famous five. Number one, favorite book.
Favorite book. Well, the book that I just read is Snow Crash, because that's the word of metaverse came from. I would say maybe Shantaram though is probably my favorite book at the moment.
Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
It's a good question. I think Mac Redden at Comsor, he's kind of an ally of mine, but also just an amazing community builder and has a beautiful energy. Recommend checking him out.
Number three, what's your favorite online tool for building Topia?
Procreate is probably the number one in terms of illustration capabilities. We also have an API coming very soon where people will be able to build their own tools on top of Topia. And so hopefully one of those will be my favorite soon.
Number four, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I think the healthy thing to say would be 8 to 9, but it's 5 or 6.
All right. And situation, married, single, kids?
Married, no kids.
No kids. All right. And how old are you?
34. 35. I just had a birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Me too. I was October 3rd. When's your birthday?
October 14th.
Oh, nice, man. Very cool. All right. Last question. Something you wish you knew when you were 20.
Wish I knew when I was 20. I guess, that you don't need to go the traditional path. One of the things when we're young, at least when I was growing up, you're told that you should be a doctor or a banker or a lawyer. One of the things I've realized now is that there's so many different things you can be. And part of that is just the evolution of the job market. And there are gig economy things. You can be an artist, you can be a creator, you can be a manager. But I wish I knew when I was younger that the world was way more open to possibilities.
Guys, Topia.io hosted Burning Man in 2020 when everyone was shut down, had 25,000 people on their virtual world. They did under $100,000 in revenue at that point because they weren't focused on revenue. Now really trying to figure out how to drive revenue so they can pay more out to co-creators to get better artistic talent on the platform to create better virtual worlds. Thousands of people are paying over $9 a month for world ownership, and B2B brands are hosting events on here as well, along with some of these folks like Burning Man. They're paying thousands out to creators every single month. We'll see what happens next. 5.2 million raised, sold about 20% as he looks to scale. Daniel, thanks for taking us to the top.
Nathan, thanks for having me on here. This was really fun.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, presentation, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.